Good morning, everybody. It's really bright and early this morning. I am going to be bringing you what I hope is a super fun holiday twist on a couple items you might need to share with your family this year. So I have 2 cans of pumpkin up. We're going to strain those. I'll take you through the process of making your own homemade pumpkin puree. I have all the ingredients for making French bread. So we're going to do 2 things. So stick around if you're interested. We're going to make a holiday French bread. It's going to look like a really cute wreath. And we are going to make a pumpkin bread pudding with the other French loaf bread. So first I need to get going on the prep time that it takes for this. So we're going to get the bread dough mixed and we are going to get the pumpkin straining. What brand is this? Oster. So I just always use an Oster bread maker, primarily just to mix my dough so I can be hands off for other things. So to make, it's a very basic French bread recipe, but I tell you what, every time I serve it, I get asked for the recipe and it's really so very simple. So it's just 2 cups of water. We're gonna put in 6 cups of flour, and I do get asked all the time, isn't that way too much for your bread maker? I'm sure I'm working this bread maker pretty hard, but I don't let it cook in here so it doesn't have to rise quite as much, and I've never had a problem with it. And I buy these secondhand at resale shops, so if I've already burnt out the motor in one. So if I do it again, that's okay. And I'm eyeballing this about 1.5 teaspoons of salt. I'm gonna make a well in the flour. And we're adding 0.25 ounces of just dry active yeast. It's not fast acting yeast, just normal yeast. And then I'll put it on my dough setting. And we'll let this mix in here. And now let's get started on what we need to do to prep our canned pumpkin for pumpkin puree. Okay, I had to wait for the bread machine to stop with its first mix, so it's on its first rise now. So what I did in the meantime was I just took my 2 cans of pumpkin and kind of just hand drained it. There's still a little bit of juice at the bottom. Try to be careful not to get that. So this one doesn't have that much. We're gonna dump that pumpkin in. Okay, I was able to avoid just a little juice in the jar. And then I'm just taking my immersion blender and I'm going to blend this all together and get it nice and pureed. So as you can see, this is pretty wet. It does not look like that nice thick store-bought pumpkin puree that you're used to. It's still very has a lot of water content to it. So I just have a some muslin, cheesecloth, whatever you want to call it. This is actual muslin, and I'm going to tie this up in like a little muslin tea bag, and we will hang it probably till mid-afternoon to get as much liquid out as we can. Let's see how much liquid is coming out. So I'm just gonna hang this over here and I'll be right back. All right, guys, this bread is done mixing. Let's get it out. I'm going to take it in half. I'm just going to let it sit for 10 minutes or so, and then we'll work it. Okay, I think you guys, yep, I think everyone can see what I'm working with. So this is going to be the Christmas French bread. If you want to do this, I saw it, this is a total Pinterest. So I'm just digging a hole in the center of my loaf. And I'm going to eat this today. We're having chili, so this is just a trial run, but I thought I'd share it with you guys in case you were interested. And I'm gonna take whatever size cylinder you have to make the hole. This actually might be too big. Okay, I just have a wide mouth glass. Kind of like, I don't know what size you would call that, a beer size glass. It's not perfectly centered, but we'll see. And then we're going to sprinkle some cornmeal on the pan. Okay, now I'm just going to cover this one, if you guys can see, with a damp towel, let it rise. Actually, take that back. Let's come back to that and I'll tell you what to do if you want to make French bread. So this one's just going to be normal. If I didn't say at the beginning of that bread making, this will make 2 loaves of French bread. So very similar to making regular bread, just roll it out as best as you can in a rectangle. You don't want to necessarily overwork it too much, but just enough where you can get it rolled out, and then we'll roll it back up nice and tight. Okay, I have like a tablespoon of water in there. We're just gonna, let me do this part first. So if you just wet your seams down on your French bread, you'll get a nice seal. Same, a little sprinkle of cornmeal. Put it same side down. Okay, I have a tablespoon of water. I'm gonna add 1 egg white. Oh, doggone it. Oh my God. Stop. Okay, now that you have your breads kind of set, you do want to give it an egg wash. So I have a tablespoon of water. We're just going to take 1 egg white. Okay, give it a good brush. And save this because you'll use it again during the baking process. All right, now what you want to do next is get yourself a couple tea towels. Dampen them and cover your bread and let them rise for till they're doubled. So we'll come back after they have doubled and I'll show you what to do next. Okay, I just pulled these out of the oven. I am now preheating the oven to 375. They were just proofing in there. So let me show you. Here's the regular French bread loaf. And here's going to be our Christmas wreath loaf. So let's get to scoring the French bread and I'll bring you down here and watch what I do. Okay, so for this regular one, I'm just gonna, you want like about 1/4 inch deep slashes through it. And I kind of do it based on how I'm gonna cut it. Okay, so that's that one. Now this one I'm going to just take, I've got wide kitchen shears. I'm gonna kind of just angle it and snip. Angle it and snip. Okay, now we're going to bake them for 20 minutes this way, and then we will come back and do one more egg wash and then 15 more minutes. I just need to wait till my oven's finished preheating. So here's the thing, we lost power. I'm using my cell phone flashlight. I should have known better. We had huge winds coming through today, like 60-mile-an-hour gust. And anytime that happens, I'm at a risk of losing power. And it went out about 3 minutes ago. And I just remembered, oh no, I had bread baking. And the gas will run my gas cooktop stove, but it doesn't run the oven, which I didn't know, I don't think. So I just hollered at Todd and he's gonna come try to fix it. So, oh darn. And I don't know how much time I had left. I think about 8 minutes or so on the first cook. Yikes.
Well, I know Rachel worked hours and hours and hours this morning on this bread, so we're going to save it. Fortunately, the last time we were at the cabin, we tried out our Bluetti EB150 solar generator, battery bank, power bank. I brought it home with us, and it should be fully charged, ready to go. Now, gas ranges, the gas still functions, like you can turn on but the little igniter doesn't work. The control panel doesn't work for the oven unless you have power. So we should be able to, and it's not going to draw a ton of power. It's not like it's an electric stove. You're basically controlling the electric circuits and the igniter and stuff like that. So it should run plenty of time off of this battery bank to get the oven back up and running and save the bread. Plug it in the back, and we can power up the unit. Yep, full charge, and then we'll turn on AC power. And the oven's back to life. Hey Rachel, what temperature do you need this?
375.
Convection bake or regular bake?
Convection. Oh look, it's going.
Yep, so it's drawing 150, 160, 180, 200 watts so far, 250.
Maybe it'll stable out once it...
I think it'll drop back down once, like the igniter. for the gas. It's not, for the one in the oven, I don't think it's a sparker.
Yeah, it's starting to go down.
I think it's a glow plug style, so it's going to draw a ton of power until it gets lit, and then this should drop back down. You feel the heat coming out.
So it didn't get too low. It lost about 100 degrees or so.
Yep. But I'm pretty sure that we have some coupon codes for these from about a month ago, and I'm pretty sure they're still active. So if you've ever been in the market for one of these, we'll leave some links down in the description for you guys.
Thanks,
Can
babe.
be a savior.
So we have been watching Little House on the Prairie, and in a more recent episode, Carolyn, the mom, was gifted a wood cook stove from Laura for Christmas. And I'm not quite sure, I can't really tell the placement because in later episodes you see the big fireplace hearth, and then what you would picture back in the late 18th century, you know, the built-in ovens next to the wood stove. And she's always pulling fresh bread and pies and everything out of there. In my dreams and in my visions, I see an addition onto this house off the back. And I see this grand fireplace with one of those old-fashioned wood stove hearths built into it so that I can, in this case, truly be in a self-sufficient operation, that I'm not dependent on the power grid for my energy. I can still bake, and I would have to teach myself, of course, those new skills. But wouldn't that be amazing to have that set up still today as your backup, and even, you know, just to use sometimes for fun to save on energy cost? So this triggered all of those feelings again inside today. Okay, we're just giving it another egg wash real quick. Okay, and we're going to cook it about 10 to 15 minutes more. Okay, well, the bread is done now, so let's pull it out. And guys, after all that excitement, I think I'm going to wrap up this video with just how to make some amazing French bread. And the next video will be on how to make the pumpkin bread pudding, okay? So I'm sorry if you hung around looking forward to that, but with this power outage, I really don't want to start that job not knowing if I'm going to have power. But we can at least finish up here, and I will show you guys how to turn this cutie into a Christmas wreath. So that cup was pretty tricky to get out. Definitely grease your cup or whatever vessel you use to make your hole in your bread. Let me just pick it up and show you guys real quick. Very cute, adorable. I have my little cups. I don't know what exactly size they are. They're from Libby, so I think that you can buy them online. Look how perfectly that sets in there. You could serve this with some olive oil, herbed olive oil, dipping sauce, spinach artichoke dip, some mustard butter, whatever you want that you think would be yummy. But let me show you what Pinterest people, so clever. I'm not creative, guys, at all, so I have to use Pinterest to tell me what to do. And I'm okay admitting that because I'm just not a natural artist at all. So I just, and all my Christmas ribbon is still up in the attic, so pretend that this is really cute Christmas ribbon. So I put my little bowl in there. I went and grabbed a couple little cute spruce boughs, and I am going to, hold on a second, I'm about to blow your mind, hold on. So cute. Okay. Isn't that adorable? Oh, jeez. Hold on, there you go. Isn't that adorable? So an awesome, absolutely beautiful bread that you can serve for your holidays. Just make everybody think that you spent tons of time. I know Todd said I spent hours and hours. I didn't. It's like so hands off of a process. Total hands-on time, maybe 15 minutes. But can't tell you how many people say, well, if you'd only cut into the bread so I could see if it's even worth my time. So we're gonna do that with this French loaf, and I will treat myself to some butter and honey this afternoon. And this bread loaf, what I'll do is I will just cut it in half, open it up, let it air dry, not get stale really, just let it air dry, and I'll bring you back that pumpkin bread pudding recipe. So obviously still too warm to properly cut into, but that is just delicious. Perfect French bread. Nice and crunchy, crust, chewy, fully. Yum, yum, yum. Woo, what a day. Thanks guys for coming in the kitchen. I'm gonna drown my little sorrows with a little bit of honey, and I'll talk to you guys later. Yes. Bye guys.